Welcome to the Temple for Shabbat morning services. We're pleased you've joined us. Please cross the physical distance either in the room or to the camera and join in our services, which are led from Mishkan Tefillah for Shabbat, the prayer book of Reform Judaism. If you have a copy, you can follow along. If not, there's a digital flipbook version you can find in our YouTube description. Our opening song is Hine Ma Tov. It's on page 10. Please join us. Continue with a special prayer for these difficult times. We are loved by an unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us even when we're hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us even when we're too proud for the soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved by an unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us even when we're too weak for the meeting. We are loved by an unending love, embraced, touched, soothed, and counseled. Ours are the arms and the fingers and the voices. Ours are the hands and the eyes and the smiles. We are loved by an unending love. We continue with Ma Tovu, page 172. On page 195 for the Baruch Hu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or u'vorei choshech, oseh shalom u'vorei et hakol. Hameir la'aretz v'ladarim alecha barachamim, uv'tuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reshit. Ma'rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita, mal'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha. Tit barach Adonai Eloheinu al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, v'al me'orei or sha'asita yevarucha selah. Or chadash al Tzion ta'ir v'nizkeh chulanu mehera le'oro. Baruch atah Adonai, yotzer ha'maorot. Please join me. The world is sunlight, restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to the eyes. More welcome than gold, a Torah from heaven. I have no light to give the morning. My Torah, my special human gift, is words. As I bring my words forth from silence, welcome them, you who redeems the sun from darkness. Baruch atah Adonai, yotzer ha'merot. We continue on page 199. God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in 1,000 tongues for us to hear. In every land and every age your children have heard you and imagined you in separate ways. And yet, O God, you are one, unifier of humanity. We give thanks for the sages and teachers who bring us understanding of your will. Gratefully we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalmists and sages of Israel, and joyfully we remember that from the dawn of Israel's life, we would turn to you and find purpose. May the teaching of our ancestors live on in our hearts, and their passion for righteousness stir our hearts. Help us to live so that our daily conduct reveals the beauty and wisdom of your truth. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher ba'amo Yisrael, ba'ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Please be seated.
And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you on this day shall be upon your heart, shall be upon your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates. that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
Please join me in the Ve'ahavta, page 201. Ve'ahavta, 8, Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavcha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol me'odecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha. V'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, b'shiv decha b'veitecha, u'vlech decha v'aderech, u'shoch b'cha u'vkumecha. U'kshartam la'ot al yadecha, v'hayu l'totafot beininecha. Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha v'isharecha. Lama'antis karu v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'item kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 203. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Rise on page 205 for the tefillah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el hagadol hagibor v'hanora el elyon, gomel chasadim tovim v'koneh hakol v'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot. Umevi ge'ula livnei v'neihem lema'an shemo ba'ahava. Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen. Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Source of all being, we turn to you as did our people in ancient days. They beheld you in the heavens, they felt you in their hearts, they sought you in their lives. Their quest is ours. Help us to see the wonder of being. Give us the courage to search for truth. Teach us the path to a better life. So shall we, by our lives and our labors, bring nearer the world we envision, one of justice, freedom, and peace. Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. You are the open door that beckons me in. Peeking around the doorframe, I begin to enter into your glory. You move me forward, O Eternal, to step beyond self-made boundaries. Lift my foot over the threshold that I might abide with you in the house of the Eternal. I found my questions waiting to be posed. They filled me with wonder. Sit with me, Eternal Teacher. Encourage my seeking. As I fill my hours with your mitzvot, so shall I be filled. Send me through your door, stretching up to honor your name, sharing out this wonder, enriching myself in the giving. Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives life to all. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, יקרא זמר ואמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, מלוך הארץ, כי הודו, אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדונינו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכינו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהים, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
To all generations we will make known your greatness, and to all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. Join us in Yismachu, top of page 211.
ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת.
Mikarishi,
shomrei, shomrei, Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat, yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat.
V'hashvir רצית בו וקידשתו שבת חמדת ימים אותו קראת
Shabbat ישמחו במלכותך Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat, yismechu v'malachutecha. Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. Zecher l'maaseh למעשה וראשית שבת זכר למעשה וראשית שבת ישמחו במלכותך Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat, yismechu v'malachutecha. Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat.
We continue on page 216. O God, may we never become complacent, faltering in our efforts to build a world of peace. Let the nations know and understand that justice and right are better than dominion and conquest. May all come to see that it is not by might nor by power, but by your Spirit that life prevails. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la la la. Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha.
Please take a moment for silent prayer. Page 253, you'll find the words to Misha Berach, prayer for courage and for strength, for hope and for healing, which we offer this morning on behalf of so many members of our congregation in need of hope and healing, courage and strength, those in hospitals and in nursing homes, those recovering from illness at home, for all those we love and all those we care for, and for all who care for us, we offer these words of hope and prayer. Please join us. Turn now to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of the Torah, which can be found on page 245. Please rise. Of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it. Join me, have a seat, and join me in the blessing before the reading of the Torah, which can be found on page 250.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam vaed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
This week's portion is called Vayera. We're reading from the section where Abraham and Sarah are welcoming guests. Vayomru elav aye Sarah ishtecha. And they said to Abraham, where is your wife Sarah? Vayomru hine ba'ohel. And he said, behold, she is in the tent. Vayomer shov ashuv elecha. And they said, certainly we will return to you. Ka'ed chaya, at the appropriate time. V'hine ben l'sarah ishtecha. And Sarah will have a son. The Sarah shoma'at petach ha'ohel. And Sarah was listening at the opening of the tent. V'hu acharav, which was behind Abraham. V'Avraham v'Sarah Canim, and Abraham and Sarah were very old. Ba'im b'yamim, they are very advanced in years. Chadal liyot l'Sarah orech kanashim, Sarah no longer had the periods of women. V'titzach Sarah b'kirba, and Sarah laughed within herself, lemor, saying, Achrei v'lo tihaita li edna, after now that I am worn out, will I have enjoyment still? V'Adonai zaken, and my master is elderly. Vayomer Adonai el Avraham, and God said to Abraham, Lama zetzaka Sarah, why does Sarah laugh? Lemor, saying, Ha'af umnam eled, will I truly give birth? Va'ani zakanti, and I am so old. Imagine for a minute a knock on the door. Your door. You open it. There's an angel standing there at your doorstep. Not just a costume-cloaked stranger for trick-or-treat or someone decked out in Purim attire, but a full-blown, feathered wing, ghostly glowing angel with a message delivered to you from the one eternal God of all peoples and things. And so long as we're imagining this, let's imagine that you're 100 years old at the time, and that your much younger spouse is 90 years old, seated some distance away back deeper in the recesses of the house. This imagined angel has come to bring you words of blessing. Miraculously, and despite your advanced age, in just 9 months' time, you and your spouse shall bear a long-awaited child to fulfill God's promise that your progeny will someday be numbered like the stars in the sky and the sands of the sea. Imagine for a moment what you might do when presented with these words by an angel of God. Do you think you might laugh out loud? Or if you were the spouse sitting somewhere not too far away, do you think you might laugh to yourself at the thought that the two of you might become parents after waiting for so long? And if 9 months should pass from that day, and through some remarkable twist of fate, you found yourself holding that promised child in your warm and loving hands, looking back on the time when that promise of life was first made, what else might you call that miraculous little life but Yitzchak, which means laughter? This most unlikely of tales is the story of our ancestors, Abraham and Sarah, and the promise of their long-awaited and much-beloved son, Isaac, which is found here in Parshat Vayera. Abraham and Sarah show hospitality to 3 travelers who turn out to be angels in disguise. As the angels are about to depart, they tell Abraham and Sarah they will soon bear a son. This is unbelievable news, literally unbelievable, in that Sarah's 90 and Abraham is 99. Sarah, listening from the distance in the privacy of her tent, laughs quietly to herself, saying, now that I am withered and old, am I to have enjoyment with my husband so old? And God responds to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh, saying, shall I truly bear a child, old as I am? Is anything too wondrous for God? God's response to Sarah raises 2 interesting and insightful questions. The first question is, why does God take exception to Sarah's laughter? Particularly when Abraham responded to this same promise with laughter himself just 1 chapter earlier in the Torah. Abraham threw himself on his face, it says, and laughed as he said to himself, can a child be born to a man 100 years old, or can Sarah bear a child at 90? God seems fine with Abraham laughing at himself, and yet concerned somehow about Sarah laughing to herself about Abraham. And the second question might be, why does God lie to Abraham concerning the reason for Sarah's laughter? The great biblical commentator Rashi notices a slight adjustment between the words which Sarah says to herself and the words which God tells Abraham she has said. Sarah laughs at the news that she'll bear a son because her husband Abraham is now so old. God says to Abraham that Sarah laughed because she thought that she herself was too old. Now, while this might just be as easily dismissed as a minor variation in the text, maybe God didn't quite hear it right. Rashi teaches us that the lesson of this little ripple in the telling of the tale is a lesson of shlom bayit, peace in the home. God prefers to tell a white lie rather than embarrass Abraham or cause strife between Abraham and Sarah. The big lesson of this story is nothing is too miraculous for God, but the little lesson beneath that lesson is that peace between people may at times matter more than an unbending truth of our words. Which leaves us with our first question still waiting to be answered. Why did Sarah laugh? Well, having imagined this moment so many times in her head, it doesn't really make sense that Sarah would laugh because of this sudden prophecy seemed too ridiculous to come true. Sarah doesn't laugh because she doesn't believe. Sarah laughs because she does. Abraham and Sarah have been promised this child since the day they first followed God's call and left Haran, the land where they were born, their family home, and set out on the journey of their faith, not knowing really where their story would end. But even then, at the very beginning, God had promised them that they would be parents, and the parents of a great nation with descendants as many as the stars in the sky and the sands in the sea. The subject came up a few times after that. Abraham and Sarah discussed it incessantly. Just one chapter earlier in the Torah, God renewed that promise with Abraham. He laughed, I know, but would Abraham not have told Sarah of God's words? So there's no shock in this revelation. God's been saying this all along. It's just funny that, of course, the eternal God of time and space would wait until now. What's 100 years in God's time? Just a chance to show that this little miracle of life will truly be a miracle. Sarah doesn't laugh because she doesn't believe. Sarah laughs because she does. Believing in a miracle in a rational world, it's a laughable thing. I know. But recognizing and appreciating the miracles in our lives, like the birth of a child who brings joy and laughter to our older age, that is an act of faith. Faith is a laugh when you recognize life's miracles and believe that they might truly come true. Please join me as we say the blessing after the reading of the Torah, at the bottom of page 250. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael. Al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe, b'yad Moshe. Al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe, b'yad Moshe. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael.
We rise now for the Elena, which can be found in the middle of page 283. Let us adore the ever-living God and render praise unto you, who spreads out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else.
Akadosh
Page 287. We read together. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד. It has been said Adonai will be sovereign over all the earth. On that day Adonai will be one, and God's name will be one, and God's name will be one.
Page 291. Yesh kochavim shoram magia arza rak asher hem atzmam avdu ve'enam. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with the people that we've loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways that we remember. Our thoughts turn to those who've departed from this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and our neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. This week in our congregation, we remember particularly the names of John A. Danello, Shirley Tanchester Reese, Anna Mash Bass, Louise Bornstein, Tilly H. Cohen, Miriam Davidson, Richard Dorsback, Anton Dryden, Mark Epstein, Irving Ehrman, Morris Foreman, Eugene Frank, Ruth Gelfenbein, Anna Glogauer, Martha Gordon, William B. Hummel, Beatrice Jacobs, Lillian Jacobs, Martin Kasten, Robert Kling, Joseph Lang, Peggy Lipton, Hilda Myers, Josephine Rosenfeld, Rebecca Kahn Rubin, Mary Rudd, William J. Schutz, Phyllis Siegel, Kate Simon, Sonia Simon, Dorothy Collins, Ann Schuyler, Walter Ziegler, Robert Fine, Armand Goldstein, and one who passed away recently, Cindy Morgan. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for blessing as we rise for Kaddish, page 294. Yid gadal v'yid kadash shemei rabba. Balma divra chirutei v'yimlich malchutei. B'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. Bagala uvizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabba movorach le'olam ulmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudisha b'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort all who are bereaved. And let us say together, Amen. Our closing song is Oseh Shalom. Please join us.
Oseh Shalom. ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Let us dream wildly unimaginable blessings. Blessings so unexpected, blessings so beyond our hopes for this world, blessings so unbelievable in this era, that their very existence uplifts our vision of creation, our relationships to one another, and our yearning for life itself. Let us dream unimaginable blessings, a complete healing of mind and body and spirit, a complete healing for us all. The end of suffering and strife, the end of plague and disease, when kindness flows from the river of love, when goodness flows from the river of grace, awakened in the spirit of all beings, when God's light radiating holiness may be seen by all. Let us pray with all our hearts for wildly unimaginable blessings, so that God will hear the call to open the gates of the garden, seeing that we haven't waited, we've already begun to repair the world. In testimony to our faith in life, our faith in each other, and our faith in the Holy One, blessed be God's name, let us dream wildly imaginable blessings. May the work of our hands be blessed. May the work of our hands bring blessing. Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thanks for joining us.